thing.
Okay.
Breaking news.
This is like a
Crowdsource our news here.
kind of a one-line little thing here that I saw. Cool Voice of Canada, Brendan Sinclair reporting over at gamesindustry.biz. It's an interview from E3 from the looks of things with David Ishmaelers, the president of 2K. And they didn't show any games. If you remember, 2K did not show video games at E3.
Yeah. For, I think, like a couple of years now.
Yeah.
They've really been absent.
But they did still have a booth, and they were just kind of hanging out in there and talking about the future. And it sounds like that they're looking to make a bigger run of it down the line. But the one little bit I did see the people have kind of latched onto and has been floating around as of late is that they are looking to, let me find the actual quote here. It's also stepping up investment in the WWE 2K franchise.
Oh, hell yeah!
And hopes to broaden the offerings coming out of Firaxis, describing China and
Firaxis is going to make a wrestling game?
Yeah, maybe. No,
Yeah. Now we're talking.
like, man, these wrestling games just feel like so lowest common denominator. Let's make them as cheaply as we can and just make sure the trailer looks good so we sell it to idiots that don't like good video games.
Okay, so to back up a little bit, when the changeover happened from THQ to 2K,
It's the
like
same game.
there was total continuity in developer and design and all that stuff, right?
Well,
Like
visual
this-
concepts came in, so the character models started looking a lot better.
Okay.
And my understanding is that, that was like visual concepts kind of stepping in and, they made their basketball game look fantastic. And so some of that technology was then applied to wrestling.
But the kind of
the core of the game,
the spirit,
is yes, the
Still
fighting
bad.
spirit is low. And I just feel like those games, like Ukes has been making that franchise. Ukes has been making licensed wrestling games here in the States dating back to the PS1.
Yeah.
And I feel like those SmackDown games on PS1, like those first couple of years, were pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it was a good fast-paced difference from the shit that was out there before it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, once they got into a rhythm with it, they just sucked the life out of that thing. And it never, people argue the same way they do with like a football. Like, oh, this year the truck sticks back and that's good. They had to fire the guy who wanted to bring it back, but he was right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people that say like, oh, this year's wrestling game was slightly, this system was better than this system. I try it every year and it's like, this is just the same shit. Like you're right. Some of the trimming around the edges has changed. They've this reversal system, but like the core of it is just fucking bad.
Yeah. Like every 4 years, they might have an actual innovative.
And even then, it's like one or two features where you're like, oh, that's a smart thing.
They'll have a mode that's mildly interesting.
And then when they changed generations, they actually did the sports game thing of stripping out a bunch of features along the way.
Yeah, great.
Right. Totally.
To then like maybe add them back in over time.
Some of the actually like good redeeming features, like the GM mode. And,
like all the good story creator stuff they had in those last 360 game.
The creator wrestler, I feel like, did get worse over time.
Yeah, I think so.
Like the actual wrestler models have gone better, but the actual creator wrestler, not as.
And they still shut down their servers. Like they still like I want to say within like a year or so, the servers for last year's WWE game would go offline, so all of the created wrestlers just vanish and a lot of stuff like that. Like they shut them down pretty quickly. And even I don't know if they still do it, but they would have like download limits. Like you can only download 20 wrestlers a day.
Oh yeah, and it was just
like,
you would have to sometimes like do I don't remember which WWE exactly, but I was messing around with it where I had to like use an app on my phone to take a picture and scan it and then pull it up on the thing and match QR code with another thing, and
there's a lot of shit like that. These games need an overhaul. Like the people that I was going to say wrestling fans deserve better. I don't know, actually. But whatever. Those games could be worlds better.
Totally.
Like they've made the graphics look really nice. Like the wrestler models look really good, and some of the animation is still fucked up. Those games are broken in different ways every year. Just like ref arms stretching and getting caught in a thing, and just like everything freaking out. And that's the best part. That's become the best part about those games is the way they're broken every year.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so how does dumping more money into this help?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. That it's literally one sentence in this interview, but it's like the first sign I've ever seen of someone acknowledging, like, yeah, we think this could be better.
Okay.
You say wrestling fans deserve better. I think, I would never watch WWE, but I would totally be down with if it was a good game,
Yeah.
down with a wrestling game, just because it's got lots of characters.
It's competitive.
It's
yeah,
competitive.
it's like
fighting,
a good
you can
character
build
creator.
scenarios.
Like, yeah. If they build that right with a good story creator,
I could totally
and
see myself getting
if I can execute on like more, if I can see more ghost problems, stories making its way back in, then
Ghost problems most.
Yeah,
needs to happen. Do you think there's room? Let's say they are afraid to mess with what is basically a cash cow, however shitty it is. Like, if they're afraid to mess with that core formula, like, is there room for another game on the edge, like a more experimental?
Like to make a second game, you mean? Like ship 2 games?
Like with a kind of a different focus. Like they were doing those sort of Legends of Wrestling type things.
So, I think so. So they actually they also picked up, remember that NBA Playgrounds game that came out?
Yeah.
Saber Interactive did it. It was not very good.
Yeah.
They announced a sequel, and since then that sequel has changed its name to NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, and 2K is publishing it and all the other stuff. So, yes, and 2K publishes multiple wrestling games. It's just that one of them is like a fucking card game for phones, and and whatever else they've done.
Yeah. Who did the last one that was basically like an All Stars of Wrestling? Was that still in the THQ era?
Yeah.
I forget what WrestleMania. Yeah, that's the one that they had Randy Savage going around promoting?
No, they didn't have Randy Savage.
He was doing one of them. I mean, this was years ago.
I think he'd passed away by that point.
Sworn he did.
So he did a promo tour for that Acclaim game that was unlicensed.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking.
I think
about.
Is what that was.
Okay.
That was Legends of Wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, and that was an unlicensed thing. But yeah, they did a Legends of, I think it was called Legends of WrestleMania, and that was the one where I interviewed Sergeant Slaughter. And they tried to recreate scenarios from old. There were some neat things around the edges of that game, but then you had to play it.
There was no WWE All Stars.
Right. That was a good, fun, crazy game.
It had amazing vignettes in that.
Yeah, totally.
The fake CM Punk and Stone Cold one, the dream match.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff.
Let's play through that, please.
I still want to play
I'd like
that.
to see that.
I never remember the name of it. I think it was the Data East arcade one. You know what I'm talking about?
Matt Mania. Or it was actually licensed.
Yeah, it was licensed. It might have been still
WrestleFest.
I think it might have still been WWF at that
that would
point.
have definitely been WWF WrestleFest.
I remember
Big
Boss
or no?
What's that?
Big characters in it?
Was it the one that had the big full screen Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant in an interview?
Sounds familiar. Yes, I think Big Boss Man featured prominently.
I want to say that's WrestleFest, but there was also a Royal. Well, that had a Royal Rumble mode in it. That game was going to come to 360. I don't think it ever did.
I think this is totally it. Yes, WWF WrestleFest.
Yeah, they were working on putting that out on Xbox Live Arcade.
Really?
And I don't think it ever actually happened.
That's a bummer.
There was some talk that they were going to put new people in it. There's a build of it floating around.
Huh.
Like an old PartnerNet build
somewhere.
Oh, wow.
That'd be great. That was a good game.
Yeah, that game was cool.
That was a good game until you realized you could just put another quarter in. So when Mr. Perfect was grabbing his stomach and going, you're just like, oh, I need to push the start button to recover all my health and then keep going.